It's finally time to take a look at the brand new British Invasion heavy tanks that will be coming out next week. And that is, of course, the Challenger line coming in at Cold War. So no, there will not be any more World War II tanks coming in next week. But this video will cover all of the tanks and also some of the news that will be available for World War II mode as well. So first things first, what did we have? Well, last week, of course, we had the start of the new British Invasion season, coming in with the new tank being the FV4211 with a win rate of 55%, showing you that it's probably not as balanced as you might have liked to come in at Cold War, but there we go, 55% win rate on average for people that did purchase the FV4211. Now, of course, that's not the only thing. We do have a new daily play challenge, so you can basically earn a random drop per day, which includes gold, keycards, boosters, blah, blah, blah. Also, Contract of the Chisel is now live, so you can get your hands on the tier 10 medium tank that's a combination of the Pattern, the Centurion, or I should say the Action X, basically, and yeah, it'll be an interesting tank to be able to pick up. Is certainly a very solid medium tank at tier 10. Then the British tank destroyers are on track at the moment, so you'll be able to pick up extra XP towards the all of the British tank destroyers, whether that's the Badger, the FV4005, or the FV215B183. You'll be able to get those, and then you'll be able to get some potential French heavy tank upgrades in the next Tanks Reforged. So we have Hefty Baguettes, which I would assume is that they're the heavy French tanks, which are, of course, the AMX M554, or yeah. Anyway, the heavy tanks from the French line. Apologies if I got that wrong, but yeah, it'll be looking like they'll be getting buffs next week, but no details on that as far. And then we have the next week's news, and I guess what we can do is pick out some of the pictures of the tanks that we'll be talking about, because Wargaming have released what the tanks are going to look like, and trust me, these are absolutely really cool to see, and I'm glad that they are coming into World of Tanks console, at least for me to try out, and it will be something of a good thing for the Cold War game mode, because we've been lacking a lot of medium and heavy tanks that will kind of sort out that whole light tank meta within the Cold War. At least it doesn't seem to be the case as much anymore. Anyway, regarding the actual tanks themselves, we will be getting the Challenger 2 Detente era heavy, as well as the Challenger 1, which is also a Detente era heavy, and then the Chieftain Mark 11, the Chieftain Mark 5, which is currently already in the game in the World War II mode. Then we have the Conqueror, the Centurion, and the Centurion 5/1, and then the Centurion 2, the post-war medium, which will be your first point of call for this whole British tech tree line within Cold War. And of course, as you go up, you're going to be getting up to the Challenger 2 being the top dog of the British tanks within Cold War, which will be Western Alliance for those of you who may not have already cottoned on. Anyway, not only that, we will be getting skins for all of the new tanks, so I'm sure that that'll be a very good thing. We'll also get challenges that accompany the release of the main battle tanks, which are, of course, these two here, or these three. You'll also be getting extra silver for having Her Majesty's Destroyer, which will be an operation, and that gives you basically extra 25% silver if you destroy 2 vehicles across any number of battles in these tanks here. You'll also get Her Majesty's Hunter, which is where you destroy one of the new ones. You'll get 25% silver, so essentially if you play in one and destroy another, you'll get 50% bonus silver to your game. So this could be potentially really good for grinding out silver if you do manage to get up to these tanks within the period of time that these operations and challenges are going to be released. And then not only that, they'll have the For the Queen challenge, which gives you the opportunity to get 1 million silver and 7 days of premium time. So that will require you to destroy 125 vehicles and you'll get 1 million silver. So it's a very nice return if you play the game. And so yeah, one reason why you may want to be playing in Cold War this week seems to be a lot of focus on Cold War mode and pushing people to basically do that if they want to get either silver, if they want to complete a lot of the challenges quicker. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because to be honest with you, I want to play whatever game mode I want to and not be disheartened by playing that mode because Wargaming are thrusting so much emphasis on doing the Cold War game mode. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that is the kind of next step for console. Yeah, it seems like their whole development will now be on the Cold War mode, and they'll kind of just have World War II in the background. Now, that's not the only thing. We have Tusk Contract beginning, which will be the next available contract, and that will be in January as well. So next week, the Tusk will be available for all of you to be able to start. So you'll have the choice between the Tusk itself and then, of course, the Chisel. So make of that what you will. To be honest with you, personally, the one I would choose would be to get the Chisel first, then complete the Tusk, because although the Tusk is a fun one, the Chisel is just way more competitive and be a more one that you will use for a longer period of time without getting as bored, because although having a derp gun on a Sheridan with some pretty quick speed in the form of the AMX 13105's hull, yeah, I don't think that is particularly amazing within the game, and certainly won't be able to, reward you as much as maybe the Chisel will do. And then the next available one after that will be the Smooth Man, and that will be in January. However, this may not be the only mercenary tank available in January. Wargaming have talked about the possibility of putting the machine into the game on January as well. So when January drops, potentially the machine comes back into the contracts. However, they have had a little bit of problems with the contract system and being able to put the machine in. Don't know whether that's just a slight elaboration of the truth so that they can combine it with some sales tactics maybe later on in the year as part of a new season or something. Here's a contract for one of the most broken mercenary tanks in the game. Come back and play, and here you go. Here's a new season that you can purchase alongside it. I don't know, but I guess we'll just have to speculate as to what that actually is and whether the machine is actually broken as part of a contract. Not only that, the return of Tanksmith keycards probably would avoid these. They basically only give you a commander, I believe, as part of the keycards. Not something I'd invest my money into. Just something I'd completely avoid. Not only that, Naughty or Nice random drop challenge basically gives you some medals and it gives you some drops. It's nice extra stuff that you get for playing the game, and all you have to do is win a battle, and it's only available for your first daily win. So for like the 12 days of Christmas, you'll basically be able to get this. You'll also have the 12 days of Tanksmith challenge where you complete the operations leading up to Christmas, and then as you go, you'll get better rewards if you manage to get them all done. Here are the reward stages. So between stage 1 and 4, which will be 1 to 4 days of actually playing, you'll get a confidential key card. Then between the 5th and 8th stages, you'll get a classified key card. And then between the 9th and 12th stages, you'll get a top secret key card. So you'll be able to get some pretty nice rewards. And yeah, all you have to do is log in from January to receive an extra special gift based on how many days of Tanksmith you complete. So make sure that you do log in and play that and be able to get potentially a top secret key card. Now there are a few other topics within this video that we want to cover, and that is what else is coming, not necessarily next week on Tuesday, but what will be coming further on in the game and the beginning of next year. And of course, the first one being, or the most recent kind of thing that's going to be coming out, is the toy tank mode. That's been confirmed that on December 21st, you'll be able to jump back in this toy tank mode where you can play in basically a toy tank. I mean, name is in the name, and it's basically like a little green tank, and you fire like those like sticky plastic bullet type things that deal damage to the enemies. And yeah, it's an interesting kind of novel toy tank mode, so if you're interested in that, then you can jump in. You don't actually get anything interesting. Alongside that, you also get the yearly free holiday tank. Don't think that you're going to be getting a really good holiday tank, because Wargaming being Wargaming, the free tank is always a tier 2 or a tier 3, which is always terrible, and you'll probably only want to either play it once, make sure that it's registered on your account, and then sell it for the free garage slot, or alternatively, maybe just never play it. That's kind of what happens with the yearly free holiday tanks, and I think I've got about 6 in my garage now from playing during Christmas and playing throughout the years that I've probably only played a combined game of about 7 or 8 games in them. So yeah, I can imagine that you probably will do the same. The latest update went smoothly according to Wargaming, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that. The most annoying bug of getting soft locks on the MVP screen was quickly resolved, so yeah, that's no longer a thing anymore. So if you've been holding off waiting until that got fixed, it now is already fixed, and they're also monitoring feedback. So if you do come across any bugs or glitches, make sure to contact Wargaming and tell them. Otherwise, yeah, just don't bother and deal with it, I guess. And then there's some fixes and improvements we're working on, hopefully for next week, which is the garage, the LTRT, so left trigger, right trigger, where you can cycle through the info, and the challenge progress displays, so you can access this information in the garage. There's also a missing monster commander pictures displayed correctly in the post-battle results screen. Spectator, MVP, and post-battle results screen scoreboards will now use the same blue and orange colour as the spectator HUD. So if you have switched your kind of actual colours, you'll now be able to get blue and orange, which I think is one of the colourblind modus options. Not entirely sure, but yeah, you'll be able to get that in the post-battle results screen. And then similarly, the full list will be shared on Monday. So that's all of the bug fixes. They're usually very, very boring, so I won't be covering them in detail. Maybe I'll just show a list on Monday as to what they actually are, so you can check those out. And then furthermore, the machine contract will be returning, as we talked about earlier, but it's expected in late January, so no time really super soon, probably about 2 months time, well, a month and a half away. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one to do. So make sure you try and complete the Chisel in that time. It is going to be very difficult, with needing to get nearly 1.5 million XP over the course of that contract in total, along with all of the other conditions for the operations. So yeah, it's going to be difficult for you guys, but hopefully you can get that done, or alternatively just scratch the Chisel contract and only play for the machine contract when that comes out. Furthermore, the holiday 2D commanders are returning, so if you want a Santa Claus and a snowman as your holiday commander, then yeah, I guess you can get those. And there will be 3D holiday commanders. Whether or not that will be maybe potentially Arnold Schwarzenegger, we don't know, because of World of Tanks PC currently having him as part of the Christmas celebration on World of Tanks PC, that I'm sure if you want to check out, you can actually have a look at my World of Tanks PC channel, which I'll link in the description and also in the community post on the my channel link, basically, so you can go there and check it out, or just in the description. You'll also have the chance at getting 4 new maps upgrades, which will be returning maps, which are Nomenhan, which is this frozen wasteland kind of area. You'll also get Hidden Village, which is pretty mediocre, Pearl River, which is nice, and Great Wall, which is, if you've ever watched World of Tanks PC, Empire's Border. So yeah, those are the different maps that will be coming back. Not necessarily as good as the ones we got this week, but yeah, definitely looking forward to those coming back. I'd expect them maybe at the start of the next season. Typically how Wargaming work it is that there's more maps coming out every single time the season ends, which, trust me, is about 2 months away, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's when they appear. The bar from the Sturm Tiger line is underperforming, so they're looking at buffing it. Well, there's no surprise there. It's an absolute terrible tank, 0 degrees of gun depression with a derp gun. Yeah, just utterly horrific, and I'm sure that they'll try and do something with it. And then repeat training will become an option in early 2022, so you will be able to do training. And then they have received feedback about not having enough World War II in the season pass, and will make sure this isn't the case for future season passes. So next season there will be more, hopefully, World War II content, as opposed to just smashing out tons and tons and tons of Cold War content, which I think Wargaming is making a little bit of a mistake, because remember, most of your players used to play the game on the World War II mode. I'm not saying you shouldn't produce content for Cold War, but yeah, just producing constant content with lack of kind of thought for the actual base game, yeah, it's going to not cause too nice of an impact for you. Anyway, as far as the actual tanks, here we go. This is the Challenger 1 with the skin. This is obviously the Challenger 1 without the skin. Then we have the Challenger 2, which is here. This is the big boy of the Cold War game mode for the British line. We also then have the Chieftain Mark 5, which is the one we currently have in the game. Then the Chieftain Mark 11. So you can see there are slight variations in the different tanks. So you can see kind of get thicker turret armor. Looks like they've added in almost like a spaced plate on the front of it. Also looks slightly nicer. I think this one is better in terms of what it looks like. We've then also got the further tanks that we previously had in the game, which are of course the Conqueror. You can see the model here doesn't look as nice since it doesn't have the spaced armor for the Super Conqueror, but this is just like the standard Conqueror in the game. Then we have the Centurion Mark 51 or 51, which is the Centurion 51, which is already in the game. And then there's the Centurion Mark 9, which is the Centurion 7/1 almost, that is already in the game. It looks very much like that. Or if not, looking like the Centurion Action X. So if you're interested in any of these, then make sure that you hop on next week, and hopefully that's covered all of the news. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and let me know what you thought of this update and the most recent season to World of Tanks, and whether you're looking forward to the British tanks within Cold War, or whether you just want to see more World War II content. And for that, of course, we will be having the French wheeled vehicles coming very soon into Cold War, or into World War II instead of Cold War, so there won't be as much Cold War content just being rammed down your throat, so that will be interesting. And also some other World War II tanks coming out soon, potentially the multi-barreled tanks, and also the double-barreled tanks as well. So yeah, interesting stuff to come, and I hope you'll join me on this channel in that journey throughout the years. If you subscribe and like the video, that greatly helps out the channel, but only if you actually want to watch the videos. Don't bother subscribing if you're not interested. But other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Goodbye.